This show is a Rochester podcast production. For advertising information, please contact us at rochesterpodcastnetwork@gmail.com. Welcome back to the Chris Konya Show. If you're listening, make sure you hit subscribe and leave a review. It's super helpful. And if you're watching, share it on your page. We're trying to build a podcast hub, a hub for people in the Rochester area to express themselves and do their thing, much like they have in LA and New York and other big cities. So every time you share or tell people about the Rochester Podcast Network, it helps. It helps everybody in the city. It helps creators. And it helps you have more of a variety of content. And today's guest is kind of in the realm of doing, getting onto a new trend and really representing Rochester in that trend. And I think they're doing a fantastic job already. And I'm excited to introduce them to you, or for the people who already know who they are, I'm excited to highlight them in this episode. My guests today are Cameron and Anthony from Bucha. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for coming to do this and, parking in this crappy situation that we have here in the studio for now. I'm going to give you a quick 10-second background of my experience with kombucha before I tried Bucha with Anthony here. I went to Wegmans and I heard kombucha was healthy, so I grabbed one, popped it open, drank it, and almost spit it out because it tastes just like vinegar to me. Yeah. And that's what I said to you, Anthony, when we were talking about doing this episode. And you said, good, I'm glad you had that experience because ours is way different. Start from the beginning of kombucha in general. What is it? What does it do? Anthony or Cameron, you can either answer this question.
That's a Cam question.
Why is it? Why is it the thing right now?
It's excuse me. It's full of probiotics, prebiotics, amino acids, polyphenols, enzymes. The cultures that are used to grow kombucha is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It's very similar to the microbes that are in your gut and your gut biome. So in drinking kombucha, the acetic acid that's in it helps balance the pH system of your gut. And this is, kind of the health crave to everybody. Kind of regulating the digestive system in order to make it a little bit more apt to working properly, I guess would be the way to put it.
Okay, so it's gut health. That's
yes.
what it really, it's pro gut health. That's
exactly
what we're going for here.
And the whole purpose for gut health is, there's more nerve endings in your gut than there are in your brain. So that phrase, you are what you eat, essentially comes from your gut, and that's what got me into it.
And it's one thing to know about it, how it works, what it does, but it's another thing to jump in and start creating your own.
Absolutely.
What made you guys? I'd like to hear both angles here. What made you guys decide? Hey, everything else that's out there is all right. We could do better.
Well, I started brewing it in my basement. I started in a 1-gallon container, and the culture continues to grow. So the more sugar that you feed it, the yeast feeds on the sugar, and then therefore you get the fermentation process. They continue to grow and grow and grow. And eventually you have to split containers with it because it just gets too big for the one container that it's in. So then eventually I'm brewing, 5 gallons in a week. And I'm like, I can't drink 5 gallons in a week. So all my friends would come over and they would like, I'll pay you for it. And I'm like, no, just have it. It costs next to nothing to make it, at your house.
At your house, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I started giving it away, and then I had people that wanted to buy it, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, cha-ching.
Of course.
I can make money on this. So I decided, to start playing around with different flavors, figure out what sells good, and then I started going to music festivals and selling it, at music festivals, and then that's when Anthony came along.
And when you get into this situation, any entrepreneur, or is that what you consider yourself, having an entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah, spirit. No, I just need to execute it.
Sure.
And then it was when I was running Turcots, which was one of my family bars, and we did our liquor and beer ordering. I think I was on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And Cam was having a drink at Oxford's, which was next door. Mm-hmm. And I literally just walked over and was just talking to Zach, which was his friend that used to work for me. And I was like, yeah, what do you do for a living? And he had dreads down to his butt. And I was like, this guy's a character. And I was like, what do you do? He's like, I brew kombucha. And I was like, I've heard of this. And I never had it at this point in my life. But seeing the trends in the world and how it's big in LA and everything, I was like, you know what? I have some money to play around with. So then that day we started looking at buildings. And then literally we never stopped since. So
and you just, and it's fun too. It's weird because you think, you mentioned, Cameron, that you started at festivals and stuff. And usually at festivals, at least before our generation, the millennial generation, you're not selling something that's good for you and
Exactly.
making a profit. You know what I mean? You can sell plenty of things, but not like saying like gut health. Hey, this is good for your gut health. Wasn't really as sexy as it is now. Then in the 70s and 80s or whatever at Woodstock. Like,
Well,
so,
the way that I looked at it, man, is it has a mild amount of alcohol in it. So if you're hungover from the night before, that little bit of alcohol is going to help you through your hangover. And it was one of the best hangover cures I ever had. So I was like,
That's for sure.
boom, go to a music festival, sell to people that are,
in the morning. You get a lot of sales in the morning.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. When people are going up, getting coffee, waking up,
Sure.
this is, it has caffeine in it as well. It's gonna pick you up.
Oh, you have those crippling hangovers, man. You'll do anything.
Yeah.
It'd be like some
this
guy
is
could come up with a
magic.
monkey, be like, if this monkey scratches your back and licks your ear, you'll be
Literally.
good. I'd be like, how much? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I'll take
1 for
2.
3, 2 for 5.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Now, where are you guys? I mean, where can we get this stuff? Is it only online? Can we find it in bars? Are you trying to push into bars, grocery stores? What's the current status? And then I want to know what the end game is.
Okay. As of right now, we're predominantly in bars and restaurants because I think it was an untapped market that we both had experience in because my family being in the bar industry. Cam was working at Murphy's Law at the time. So we didn't want to step on anybody's toes in the kombucha business that were predominantly health stores and markets and gyms and stuff like that. So it was our easy way in. And we're in 23 locations?
23
Nice.
right now.
Yeah. And then we're going towards kegging. So you're wasting less and it's the same amount, but we are still bottling and selling it to bars and restaurants mainly.
Is that a tough hurdle for a bar to give up a tap, say for a craft beer or whatever, to put on kombucha, or do you expect it to be a no-brainer for them?
As of right now, that's why it's not our main focus because that is the end game because that's where it's going to go because it's going to be able to mix with cocktails and stuff like that.
Cool.
So right now we have a cocktail list, but you're opening up the bottle and it's great. You can still use it for 2 or 3 cocktails, but you put the top back on, you're still going to waste it eventually if you don't use it in the next day or two,
Right.
So with the taps, it's going to make it easier. And I mean, it's like anything else, though. I mean, at one point, they didn't have cider probably on at a bar,
That's
or
true.
they didn't have craft beer in a bar. They didn't want to waste Blue Light or Bud Light. And now look at it, in San Diego and LA and all that stuff. My cousin worked at a startup company in New York. They had a keg of it in the office the whole time.
Wow.
So,
the
I mean-
new studio, I'm gonna have at least one tap
At
of
least.
something. So maybe I could be your guinea pig for.
And we eventually
do it.
want to work with breweries and stuff like that and do a kombucha beer too. So
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this is the market to do it. I mean, Rochester's pretty great for something like this. How have you, how have the average person, what am I trying to say? The regular consumer, the one-person consumer who buys one case, how are they receiving your product as opposed to trying to sell to a restaurant or bar? I mean, people loving it?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, for the most part, I think it's approachable. That's why, because it's not that strong acidic taste, and that's what we were going for. So a lot of people are like, I liked it, like kombucha kind of. I'm like, just try it, like how we met or how we started talking about it, and they're like, wow, this is actually really good. So I have been delivering to houses and stuff just to get it out there. So
What are the 3 flavors we have here?
So
Or two, excuse me. 3 bottles, 2 flavors.
Yep, we got blueberry lemon ginger, which is by far our most popular seller.
Okay.
And then we have cranberry pear. And both of them are made with both black tea, Highland blend, and yerba mate. Shout out to Niraj at Happy Earth. So yeah.
Now those both sound great, and I'm sure there are flavors that have sounded great and failed miserably. Now let's get a little vulnerable here. Have you tried any combination where like this is going to be a hit and tried it and went nope?
Yes.
Like what?
I have 26 different flavors
Okay,
of
well,
kombucha that
what's
I've
the
done
one where you're
that
like,
work.
This is going to be a home run, and you're like, oh no, it's the Houston Astros.
Mint and starfruit.
Mint and starfruit.
It was
I don't even know
terrible.
about this.
Pineapple is the worst in kombucha. It literally smells like feet.
Oh man,
It is horrible. Like it's
Mint and Starburst.
no, not Starburst, Starfruit.
Oh,
copyright issues there. Anthony. Copyright issues. Mint. So these are separate flavors.
No, I did them together. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So like a minty.
I-
It's
yeah,
like a
I
foot
was-
you put axe on.
I was like a chemist in the kitchen, man. I was just like taking anything that I could and putting it in there.
What's the flavor you'd like to make that you haven't tried yet? I mean, 26 is a lot, but you're no Baskin Robbins yet.
Exactly. Probably the next flavor we're going to come out with is my favorite.
Okay.
It's a cherry lime.
Cherry lime. That's the flavor I go to when I'm getting like a LaCroix or whatever, like a
Yeah.
sparkling water.
Yeah. So like when I used to go to Sonic, when I was in high school,
Sure,
I'd
sure, sure.
sneak out for lunch and go to Sonic, I would always get a cherry limeade. And it was always like my favorite flavor.
What's your biggest competition, you think, like for gut health? Do you think people are taking like over the counter, medicine or like a Tums or like excuse my ignorance, I don't know what would be like if someone was like, oh, I'm trying this right now, and you were like, no, you should try kombucha. What would that thing that they're using right now be? Anything?
It's a good question, man.
Pepsid AC or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can't be taking that stuff every day. It's not good for you. I mean, long term.
Yeah, it's just going to deteriorate your gut.
Yeah, and it's going to take this acid out of your gut that you need to break down your food and stuff like that. So this is a natural way that's going to build your gut health.
And now cranberry pear, strawberry lemon ginger,
blueberry lemon ginger.
blueberry lemon ginger. Obviously, I'm dehydrated because I can't see that far right now.
Well, would you like some kombucha?
Yeah, which one did you have me try? Do you remember?
I think I had you have the blueberry last time.
I gotta get a glass here. Hold on.
I think you had the blueberry because that's our favorite one. That's most people's favorite one. So if you want to try the cranberry, it's
a little dusty, but that's
okay.
all right. I'm a plumber. I could take it.
Okay,
So I'll try whatever one I didn't try last time. I'm sure it's going to be excellent. And like I said, when you had me try this, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, because we're about to do an episode together. But last time I tried one, it just tastes like apple cider vinegar, straight up. So let's try that. Yeah, I'm not a good actor, so I hope it's good. That's great. Honestly, that doesn't. There's no vinegar taste, and I was just doing plumbing work for somebody, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing a kombucha episode with the guys from Bucha," and she's like, "Oh, I want to love kombucha because it's good for gut health, like everybody knows already, but it's too fizzy. And this is not. This is more like a juice, right? Is that I don't want to use the wrong word."
Yeah,
but
no, it just goes through 2 different fermentation phases, and the second fermentation phase is when it builds up the carbonation. So we do it for a little bit lower, all right, so that whenever you're mixing it with cocktails, it's a little bit sweeter. So that's when we add the juices, add the flavoring and everything like that. So you're raising the sugar content rather than most kombucha. You get the second fermentation phase is eating all of the sugar out of it, which is beneficial and creates a little bit more probiotics, but it's not as marketable. And that's what we want, a bridging gap with kombucha for people that don't really like it. And then,
or
to
don't
the
know
people
about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then to offer it as a healthy alternative to alcohol in bars, as well as using it for cocktails. So
I mean,
it's
I
all
bartended on and off for a couple of years. You know what I mean? You could probably attest to this, Anthony.
Yeah.
Your family owning so many bars and restaurants. You can mix that with a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
We
you
have
can
a
make
very generic one, cocktail list, but we're going into each individual accounts we have, and we're going to work with whatever product they have. Because a lot of places don't have the purees and stuff like that. Like we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such an untapped market, and we're having a lot of fun with it, and we're going to keep doing it. So,
let me try. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say. Now, where's this located? Do people have to pick up if they order, or do you
we deliver anywhere?
Really?
But not, all right. Well, how far does your listeners go?
We have a call coming in from Haiti.
Yeah, it's not China.
Yeah, really. You can go one way though.
Yeah. We're located in East Rochester. We have a warehouse there. And yeah, I mean, he delivers any day.
Sure.
I mean, I go to my friend's house, and one of my friend's bosses that's like in deep Henrietta. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I drove like 25 minutes just to drop off a case. I mean,
is this what you do full time? I mean, both of you, or
he works at Axes and Nails too. He's a manager
cool.
there and bartends there. So
how many hours a week do you have to put into something like this? It obviously depends on the order, right?
It's pretty much having 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, I hear you.
I work full-time at Axes and Nails, and then when I'm not there and I'm not with my children, then I'm at the warehouse, dealing with everything there. So it just keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me, keeps me busy. So it's nice.
It's good because it keeps each other in check too.
Yeah,
you get what you put into it. So
exactly.
I mean, it's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I asked the Chicken Out Rock guy the guy who with the pop-up chicken place that's going nuts on Instagram.
It's awesome.
I asked him, I'm like, what if like the distillery, in his case, I go, what if the distillery came to you and was like, we're gonna buy your chicken recipe, give us an offer, or give us a price, and we'll try to buy it from you. I asked him if he would do it. And he's like, no, this is just way too much fun right now. So what if like this, whatever, a Coke or Coca-Cola comes to you and offers you and buy it out right now? Would you think you'd do it, or do you have a price, or you're like, this is too much fun, I want to own this brand, this is my baby?
So that's kind of the entire objective with this. My branding, my marketing, I designed the logo, I designed the labels, the bottle caps, everything. So I think my marketing for it is built for that. So what I'm planning on doing, and what we've talked about numerous times, is to build the brand name up, get it in as many places as humanly possible, franchise it out to a couple different cities. And then once we're in those cities, and then you can, show production and market value to it, then you're going to have companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi coming to, try and buy you out. And this is exactly what happened to Kavita. Kavita started in a basement, and after 5 years of growing their company, franchising it, Pepsi bought them out for $69 million.
5 years. Oh, 69. Nice. And 5 years. Wow. That's amazing.
In 5 years. Yeah. So we're going to, I'm essentially looking at a 10-year growth plan. After 10 years, I should be in a position to sell. So
wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be? Hey, at least you're not sitting here saying, "No, this is our baby. This is our brand."
No, it's a business.
It's a business.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing what I'm doing.
That's just as respectable as anything else. And
but the goal is to work to not work, right?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
That's essentially, we've at least agreed on that. So
that's good.
We got that going for us. We agreed on one thing this whole time.
Are you guys having some friction?
No.
I mean, creative in business, it always does, right? Or whatever.
Nothing
you
that
call
a
it.
normal business wouldn't.
We've had I mean, we both started something for the first time, and I mean, it was like all his concepts, all his recipes, all his, it was his baby, and then I came in and started financing it and stuff like that. So we're always gonna collide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and you're putting all this time in, and then there's no money coming in here because you're not open. You know what I mean? So then you're just stressed out, and then
that just shows that you're both passionate about it.
Yeah, we care, and like at least we care. It's better than us just blowing each other off.
Where do you get the bottles? Where do you get the labels made? Stuff like that. Is it
all different companies? So our bottles come from Buy Our Bottles out in Binghamton.
so local?
Yep. Our labels are made with a company called U Printing,
Okay.
and then our bottle caps come from Grog Tag.
Wow. Now, what's the minimum you could buy a case, right?
A case.
Now, what's that around?
We'll do half cases if people want them.
Okay, to try it out at least.
Yeah, just to try it.
Do you have any success stories that you'd like to share of people saying like, "Hey, I never had kombucha before, and now I have it. Now I feel better." Or are you still working on you?
Anthony,
he
hated it.
All right, don't be biased. Don't be biased.
Ours is so good. No, no, I never even had it until I invested my life savings into it. Honestly, like I never had it. Now I drink it every day, and it's good. And I always have like digestional problems. I mean, from working in a bar till 2 a.m. every night, eating bar food.
Yeah.
A little bit on the heavy drinking side.
Of course.
Sorry, Mom. And and it really does help. Like when my stomach hurts, instead of going for a Tums, I just drink a kombucha and you let it settle. Then you burp a little bit and your tummy feels better. That's how layman's is in my head. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite the sales pitch.
Yes.
Pepsi's already calling.
You burp a little bit, your tummy feels better.
Every time he explains things to me, I just look at him. I'm like, all right.
So it's gonna make me feel good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I go sober to Me a Millionaires, right? Yep. Okay. All right. Good.
It's like in Billy Madison when she's trying to learn Spanish. She's like, slow down.
Literally.
Écoute mon vieux, tu n'apprendras jamais à parler le français, tu n'as pas ce qu'il faut, tu es un imbécile, ça ne vaut pas la peine de continuer cette conversation.
Slow down.
He's like, yeah, so the probiotics, the prebiotics. I'm just like, he's like, okay, it's good for you. I'm like, okay,
All right.
I'll take 2.
I made this joke to my girlfriend when I was telling her about this episode, and I go, so kombucha is probiotic, and antibiotics are also good for you. Now, I probably sound really stupid right now, but how could a probiotic be good?
I thought that was hilarious.
And an antibiotic be good for you? Have any idea what I'm talking about or why I have this question? Or I'm just taking it too literal?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one.
That's okay. I mean, you're not a doctor, so.
No, I definitely didn't go to school for microbiology. So.
I'm taking it too literal. That's all right. Now, if someone wants to buy a half case, a case, or they want to go to one of the places that has it, can you rattle off how to do that or where to go to try just one bottle?
I mean, we're in a bunch of locations. If you look at any of our social media, I have most of them posted.
Okay.
We just went into Vita Juice Bar and Ruckhouse Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
We're at Murphy's Law, Magpie, Half Pint, Caramel, Axes and Ales, Char. Where else are we? Wall Street.
And your social media would have all this.
Mainly. I try not to like flood it every day with just like,
sure.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like we're here. But Kearney's Pub.
Cool.
Stuff like that. So O'Callahan's now too. And then you can try it there. Or you can just contact us through our social media, and I'll deliver anywhere.
Okay, Bucha.
Bucha.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add? I mean, it doesn't seem like a hard pitch here to try this kind of stuff, especially if you have problems. Now, actually, let me ask this: if you're just plain old healthy and you never complained about gut health and you don't have digestive issues for working at the bar at 2 a.m. and taking shots and eating garbage plate wraps, I'm just saying. I mean, is it just healthy for the average healthy person? Does it enhance?
It rebalances your gut biome.
Okay.
And that is imperative to healthy living. You know, regardless if you're healthy, you eat terrible, it doesn't matter. You still need to take care of your gut. And that's what kombucha is here for.
They call it your second brain for a reason. I mean, it affects your mood, everything.
And for more information on kombucha in general, do you have information on your site, or can you recommend a good source for people besides,
do what I did. Google kombucha.
Google kombucha.
And there is a lot of information out now. When I first started, there wasn't. There was probably about 5 different web pages that I had to pick apart information from. But now there's a multitude of sources that you can find, and it would just behoove you to search through all of them.
Any kind of myths or anything that people think of kombucha that are just completely inaccurate? You know what I mean? Like me thinking everyone tastes like vinegar.
It has alcohol in it, so I don't drink anymore. I can't drink it. Well, the amount of alcohol is way lower than the amount of.
Is it like orange juice
benefit.
kind of having alcohol in it or whatever, or maybe a little more?
A little more than orange juice,
Okay.
but yeah.
Even a non-alcoholic beer has alcohol in it.
Yeah, it's like a little bit below that, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Agriculture and Markets Department, you have to pass stringent testing
Gotcha.
to get kombucha marketable in the first place, and they do the alcohol testing, and if it's above 0.5%, which is the legal limit for alcohol in a non-alcoholic drink, then they won't let you sell it. And that's what we had to do. We had another flavor, carrot ginger turmeric, and I kept playing with the recipe, and I could not get it down below 0.53. And so it's just like, it's not marketable. I can't sell it. So,
And you're like Walt and Jesse, you guys from Breaking Bad.
And we always say that. I was like, wow, this is like our meth lab.
You need the
dibs on Jesse.
Oh, that's
All
obvious. Yeah.
So I die. That's good.
I think no spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
alert.
But, yeah.
Oh no, he lives.
So you guys, thank you so much for coming in. I am fascinated by this stuff. Grab this stuff if you're listening or watching. Grab this stuff instead of the juice in the morning and the sugary stuff that's bad for you. At least get something that's good for you. Even if you don't have gut issues, you might not even know you have gut issues until you try kombucha, because you don't know what the other side of the coin is like.
Exactly.
So thanks for coming in.
Hey, thank you very much,
Cameron,
guys.
Anthony, we appreciate it. Thanks for watching or listening to the Chris Konya Show. Again, subscribe, like, and leave a review. Share with your friends. We're trying to build something here just like Bucha, and we know that in a city like Rochester, there's nothing but support. So thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next one.